Let's talk about something that's literally all around us, powering pretty much everything, but it can feel like a total black box. I'm talking about the financial system. Yeah, it sounds super complicated, but trust me, at its core, it's just a really fascinating story about how money gets from here to there.
I mean, think about it in the simplest way possible. You work hard, you save some money, you put it in the bank. And on the other side of town, someone gets a loan to buy a car, or maybe a small business gets funding to expand. So how does your money become their loan? What's happening in that invisible space between you saving and them borrowing? That's exactly what we're going to unpack.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll get the big picture, thinking of the system as the economy's circulatory system. Then, we'll look at the two main highways money can travel on. From there, we'll get to know the key players, the markets and the big institutions. And finally, we got to talk about the referees, the ones making sure the game is played fairly.
So let's jump right in with that basic function, moving money. I mean, when you strip away all the jargon and complexity, the entire financial system has one main job, and that's to channel money from people who have a little extra to people who need it right now.
And to make sure we're getting this right, we're not just making this up. We're going straight to the source, using a classic finance textbook to look at the actual blueprints of how this whole thing is put together.
And here it is, the textbook definition. It's the whole network that gathers money from savers, that could be you, me, a huge corporation, and funnels it over to borrowers. And those borrowers, well, they're the ones who use that money to invest, to build new things, and really, to make the economy grow.
This is probably my favorite way to picture it. If the whole economy is this giant, complex machine, money is the lubricant. Without it, all the gears would just grind to a halt. It really is like a circulatory system, pumping lifeblood, cash, to every part of the economic body to keep it healthy and working.
Okay, so we know the system's job is to move money from savers to borrowers. But how? How does it actually travel? Well, it turns out there are really two main paths it can take.
Now, this is a really important idea. The whole system basically splits in two. First, you've got direct financing. This is when a company, say, sells shares of stock directly to investors through a stock market. There's a direct line between the saver and the borrower. Then you've got indirect financing. This is what you're doing when you put money in a bank. The bank then lends that money out. The bank is acting as a middleman, an intermediary.
So let's go down that first path for a minute, direct financing. This all goes down in what we call financial markets. You can think of them as these huge meeting places where borrowers and lenders connect and trade directly with each other.
And wow, there isn't just one market, right? It's a whole ecosystem. You've got money markets for super short-term loans. Think a company needing cash for just a few weeks. You've got bond markets for long-term debt, like when a government needs to fund a huge infrastructure project. Of course, you have stock markets for buying and selling ownership in companies, and then there are even more specialized markets for things like mortgages or these complex contracts called derivatives. Each one is a different tool for getting money directly where it needs to go.
All right, now for that second path. And honestly, this is the one most of us deal with every single day. Instead of our money going directly to a borrower, it flows through a middleman, a financial institution.
And these middlemen come in all shapes and sizes. You have your everyday commercial banks, of course, but you also have insurance companies, which take the premiums we pay and invest them. You've got giant pension funds managing retirement savings for millions of people, and investment companies that pool our money together into things like mutual funds. They all play that crucial role of standing in the middle, connecting our savings to bigger investment opportunities.
So you can probably imagine, with literally trillions of dollars zipping through this massive, interconnected network, things could get out of hand pretty fast if there weren't any rules. And that's where the referees step in.
You've got to have rules, right? Regulation is all about creating trust and stability. Institutions like the Federal Reserve here in the US do more than just set interest rates. Their job is to supervise the whole system, to protect all of us, and to try and prevent a catastrophic meltdown. They're trying to keep that economic lubricant flowing smoothly.
And listen, this isn't just some abstract theory. This quote from the textbook preface says it all. Big events, like the massive financial crisis back in 2007-2009, don't just cause ripples, they can fundamentally change the entire system. It shows you just how high the stakes are and why those referees are so important.
So, what's the big takeaway here? Why does any of this matter to you? Well, because this system, as complex as it is the invisible engine that powers our world. It's the thing that connects the few dollars you stash away in a savings account to the businesses that are out there inventing new technologies, building our cities, and hiring people. And look, on a personal level, just getting a handle on these basics is incredibly empowering. It helps you actually understand what they're talking about in the financial news. It helps you make smarter decisions with your own money. And it lets you see the bigger economic picture and how you fit into it. So from the simplest savings account to the most complex market, this system connects every single one of us in this huge, intricate web. The really big question now is, after all the recent shocks and changes, how strong is it? Is it really built to last? It's definitely something worth thinking about.